and we're wanting to get live on LinkedIn. Okay, we're live everywhere. All right, let me get my trusted dry erase marker. How you doing today? This is Aaron, aka the Captain Littles, and today we're talking about sourcing and how not to source for really hard to fill roles. And I have a little joke to start this off. Don't do it. Don't staff or don't source hard to fill roles, because that just means that you're not in a niche. You've not found your sweet spot. You've not found the demographic that you want to target. And what happens is you are now a buffet. You are Ponderosa. You are Golden Corral, and I don't want you to do it. I want you to find a niche. I want you to find 5, 6 disciplines. Okay, find 8 that you want to lean in on. And what happens is you know the heartbeat of those clinicians' lives. You know where they hang out. You know where they congregate. It's easier to find them. It's actually easier for your recruiting team and your recruiting processes to have referrals coming in from the clinicians that you hire in that space, because they have friends in that space that are not working with your company. So the joke now to start this off is don't actually source clinicians that are hard to find, because that just means you're not in the right space. You're not in the right lane. Now, I will give you some strategies, because it's only 1 minute into this on, in case you are still looking for these people, how you can best go about it and how you can even work on finding that niche for what you do and streamlining your operations to be able to support that vertical specifically. And I think, a lot of things depend on that vision of what you want your company to look like. So if you want to just be, we don't care, we're going to stop, we're going to do what we're doing, post a job, get 100 applicants, interview 100 people, find 3 that we like, and then submit those 3 to the candidate. Well, now we literally chop down a tree for one piece of paper. And so I'm trying to have you avoid that. I want you to be more efficient in your workflow. And that's where at least go get more orders for the same discipline. Find a way to get more orders. Find a way to make that make sense so that you're not wasting your money and your resources finding one random person for one random assignment when you actually talk to 10 great candidates for numerous assignments, and figuring out how to get the best of both worlds. So I would tell you that niche is the best, and I'm going to write that down so we can remember this. But there's always caveats. You can be opportunistic if you have resources and availability, and there's a lot of ways to do this. If you have a great client, scenario one, you might have a great client that begs you for help because you do a great job, you got great service, and they love working with you. Can you joint venture? You have another firm that you have the orders and they do the fulfillment. This can be a win-win because you've not done anything. You've gotten the orders that you don't normally fill anyway. And then you're able to find a firm that all they do is fill those types of orders, and you make less money. And that's where the G word comes in, which is greed. That you're going to be so greedy to go get that yourself that you're going to pull some of your recruiters off of what they're already doing. They're not trained. They're not good at this job yet because they don't usually staff this position. And yeah, you might get a higher margin by keeping it all in house, but there's an opportunity cost of what they were working on full time that you're now negating that work and pulling them and moving people around and all those things. You're messing up your deal flow for whatever else you really wanted them to work on for that time period. So be mindful of why you wouldn't want to just take on this extra work and look for a potential joint venture. That's one deal. And that can be a couple different ways to slice that joint venture, where you just, even as an MSP or whatever you want to call it, joint venture, to say, hey, we have a referral partner firm that does that, and you can work together. Or you can just say to your client, referral, we don't do that, but this firm does. So now you're totally hands off. This is more of a partnership where you're going to help make sure things are smoothed out and clients are happy, everyone's happy. So that's more of a joint venture. This is more just, hey, call Aaron and he'll help you take care of that. He deals with those roles more than I do. And that's maybe a smaller fee just because you're not really doing anything, your hands off, where the other deal might be, 60-40 or something like that, depending on everyone's involvement in the work of the project. So those are a couple ways to kind of get through that sourcing piece. But there has to be collaboration, especially if you don't do it. Your company's not known for it. You're not branded for it. What we're seeing now is a lot of these clinicians and workers in general, they want to have a personalized experience. And so if it's something that's outside your wheelhouse, outside your disciplines of what you typically do, then it doesn't feel customized. And especially now we're using AI and robots and chatbots, you're going to alienate these workers or clinicians from wanting to engage if you don't tell a clean story and they don't know, who am I talking to? What company am I working with? And am I talking to a human? Is it a real job? All these little things happen now. And then all of a sudden you're staffing something totally different. So I would caution you to say, don't just jump in and dip your toe in like that. The second piece of advice would be to create a vertical. Okay. So as an example, if the client asks you for that need and you don't typically do it, well, can you make a business case and say, hang up, client, we're going to work on this for you. But generally speaking, how many of these roles do you need a year? How much does this come up? Can this be more than a one-time thing? And then, oh, by the way, do you know anyone else that might ever need this role outside of your area that you see at the trade shows that we can just get introduced to? Oh, well, yeah, our parent company needs more of this in Cincinnati or Dayton or Tampa or Orlando, wherever. And so now you might say, okay, we're going to spend $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 to create this vertical, but now we actually have a revenue plan to get to insert some revenue number. I don't know. Maybe it's $1 million of revenue. Oh, okay. Well, now this can pay for itself, so we can make an investment to then generate some revenue. Then we can create a proper vertical from it. And now it makes sense. It's like, oh, well, now we're kind of silly not to do it. We're a little bit lazy, or if you don't want this business at all, you can just formalize, either a JV where you do that, or just find a subcontractor and become an MSP. So when you do this, now you still are owning the relationship with the client, but now you're farming out even more of the work, and you're just looking like a strong partner to that client. If all these seem like too much work to you, then you can just go back to your client and say, hey, we don't do that. I don't know anyone that does that, and move on. Because again, this is not part of your core. The further you get away from your core, the more money it can cost, the more time it takes, and then that's less focus your team has on the core business, which is what pays the bills. Now, if you're in a situation where you might need to pivot, you're seeing that, who moved my cheese and all these things where the core business is struggling and you need these opportunities to go get a win, then take it. You got to go look and find new revenue streams. I just want to make sure you don't take your eye off the ball without counting the cost. So like I said, none of this was free. These are kind of free-ish, but to create a vertical is an investment. That's saying, hey, we're going to look at a potential, like a website or a new experience for this clinician group or worker group, and making sure that, whatever we're doing here is professional and supports the brand and supports both the clinician experience, the client experience. And we're actually going to think about it for 5 minutes and make sure that whatever we build is going to be good. So if it's not going to be good, then don't do it. And that's where I'm trying to help you protect the core by not embarrassing yourself by being halfway with it. Okay, a lot of TikTok people jumping on. Thank you, and then jumping out, but that's okay. If there's any questions in here about staffing, about scale, about we're talking about sourcing, but if there's more questions that you have, feel free to jump in with those questions. Same in the comments here. I'm going to say comments are live. And the reason why I wanted to talk about some of these niches is because right now everyone's in this healthcare staffing industry in the US is trying to figure out where's the revenue, who's moving the cheese. Travel nursing is down, per diem nursing is down, and a lot of people started nurse staffing firms during the pandemic, so they're trying to figure out what to do with that. Okay, guys, there's still business out there, but it's back to the hard things. This is 100 pennies, right? And actually more, maybe 160. But it's back to calls, relationships. It's back to having some kind of focus. And I'm saying 100 pennies now because right now you have to go find where the new revenue is. If you have relationships, go call 100 friends and figure out where's the biggest challenge, where's the biggest pain point, so you can figure out where the next move to pivot is. But within the industry, the healthcare staffing industry, especially between 25 and $40 billion industry, most firms would be grateful to do $15 million in revenue. So there's plenty of opportunity for a small firm to have a big impact. And I'm speaking as a practitioner, I speak as a consultant. There's revenue out there. You've got to go find a use case, find a customer base that needs help, solve their problem, and then figure out how to scale it enough to make an income and make a business move. And so that's what I've personally done. That's what I help people do. I'm helping in the locum space. I'm helping myself a little bit in the therapy space and allied space. I think there's a lot more in the dental space as well. So there's segments of healthcare that are underserved that need help. And then once you get some traction, get some movement, you're doing 2 million, 3 million, 4 million of revenue. Well, now, okay, can we figure out which one of these clinician types we love working with or client types we love working with? And you can Chipotle yourself and start to niche and not serve French fries. So if someone says, do you guys serve French fries? We say, no, we don't. But my buddy down the street makes the best French fries. Go with them. We're Chipotle. That's just not on our menu. It's not part of what we do. So if you don't know and define what your menu is as an offer, then you do everything, and you don't want to be Golden Corral. I do not recommend, and I don't know if I'm going to get in trouble for that, but the metaphor here is that you don't want to be a jack of all trades in this particular season of healthcare staffing, of this industry, of where the economy is right now. You want to find where is that niche that you can kind of lean in on, because what happens is, and I've done this flywheel myself personally, I really like it. When I was at Gale, we only hired CNAs and nurses in the long-term care space. But what that did was it just allowed us to hire their friends. And the referral engine became the biggest engine of getting people in. Even if they didn't apply right from a referral, they had awareness, and that there was already trust and credibility in what we were offering because their friend already was working with us, getting paid a great income, getting paid same day. It's that we had trust. So the trust score went through the roof really, really fast by just working in the same ecosystem over and over and over again. Other economic factors made that a hard industry, including the pandemic softening and Medicaid reimbursements and things like that. But the principle still stands of do a good job, have a niche, and then ask for referrals, and then do a good job with the referrals. If you do those few things, well, it just snowballed, and we just kept rinsing and repeating that same process. That's why I love the Chipotle analogy, because they do a good job and they just rinse and repeat it no matter where you go. So it's procedures, it's process, it's training, everything's the same. That's the franchise mentality of it. But then executing well, and then knowing what they don't do. And then they don't have it on the menu. There's no French fries. So I think that's where my 2 cents for healthcare staffing firms is to figure out what you need to have on your menu, what you don't. Now, there's a lot of caveats, and I try and do as much as I can in a 15-minute, 20-minute time block here. But there can be an R&D kitchen, right? There can be an R&D slice over here to the side that you can try and do some things, but you've got to have budget, time, and headspace to be intentional about it. So do you have the intentional time to figure out this new vertical, this new use case, to see, is that something that the marketplace needs and wants and will buy? So they can be talking to customers and saying, hey, if we found you, I don't know, some kind of technician, would you take that person? Oh yeah, Aaron, we need 10 of them. And if I were hypothetically to bill you, what would you pay? Oh, we pay about this much. Okay. And if I hypothetically pay you and you bill you and all this other stuff, do you have anyone else that you know of that would need that service? Oh, you got to come to this conference and I'll introduce you to everybody. Oh, okay. We figure it out. So those are my points on that. You want to validate before you just start sourcing random technicians and things like that, because it truly does waste money. And I've seen clients do it. And they didn't take my advice, unfortunately, but because they were trying to find revenue anywhere. But if I just post a job for an ER nurse in Idaho, but I don't usually staff ER nurses, and I get 10 applicants from that job post, but I only needed one, and I don't get the position filled. Now I have 10 people that have heard of my company that I don't do anything with. And I spent $300 on that job post. Well, it's only $300, Aaron. Okay, well, scale it a little bit. If I do that every week, 30 weeks, and how many people did I stir up that I didn't need to stir up? How much money did I spend that I shouldn't have spent, that I could have either doubled down on my core business or been more intentional and say, let's go find 10 ER positions and get all those nurses working and get angry about it. I talked to some young person today. Oh, it was exciting. I can say that now. Oh my goodness, she's in college, and she's reached out to me for mentorship. And I said, sure, let's jump on a call. And I said, hey, do you need me to sign an NDA for your for your startup? She says, no, Aaron, it doesn't matter, because anyone can have a good idea. It's all about the execution. So she got it, because everyone wants to sign NDAs and all this other stuff. It's like, I don't want to share my idea. She said, Aaron, it's all about execution. She got it. And that's why I have on my little hat right here, and all my hats, execute. And there wasn't enough space to fit the word violently right next to it, right underneath it. So my point is that if you're going to do something, commit to doing it. If you're going to say, okay, we're going to start staffing astronauts, then you better be at Tesla, you better be at SpaceX, you better be at NASA and everywhere. You want to go to Russia, go everywhere and say, hey, we staff astronauts. We are those people, and be known about it and make it a big deal. But don't just try and go staff one astronaut one time. You might get lucky, but I know that's not a business. You might make some money one time, but be intentional about it. The whole premise was, Aaron, I can't find any astronauts. Are you in the astronaut staffing business? Well, no, I'm just kind of messing with it. Okay, well, then you're not really going to probably find an astronaut, because you don't speak the right vernacular. You don't have the lingo. You don't know all these things to actually move the needle. So I would encourage you not to staff astronauts, not to serve French fries. Know what's on your menu and dominate it and own it and do a great job and execute violently. Oh, gosh, I love it. Okay, I don't see any questions coming in. Let me just double check on TikTok here. Give me 1 second for the scroll. I got some hearts, so thank you for whoever sent those. I'm just double checking if there was a question here. Okay, no questions. And feel free to DM me if you have other questions that you don't want to ask on this. And everyone on LinkedIn, thank you as well. I'm going to sign off here. But again, I'm Aaron Littles. I want to help people. I want to help you grow your business. I have group coaching available. I have one-on-one coaching. I have fractional work that I do as a consultant or as a fractional executive to help you in any business. I do a lot in healthcare staffing, but everyone in healthcare staffing is just trying to figure out what's going to happen in 2026. I'm trying to tell them what I think is going to happen, and other industries are looking to do other moves, and I'd love to learn and grow in other industries as well. So if you need anything, DM me and we can go from there. Thanks so much. Oh, I got to remember. Okay, there's the live button off. There we go.